Welcome to South Hagerstown High School, getting ready for high school football here on Antietam Broadband. The St. James Saints visiting the South Hagerstown Rebels here tonight, week 4 of high school football here in Washington County. We're glad to have you with us here on Antietam Broadband. Mark Keller along with Coach Pete Urish. And Coach, both teams coming in here reeling a little bit, both on 2-game losing streaks. This is the home opener for the Rebels. They had their first 3 games of the season on the road. And let's talk about the Rebels. They had a 20-15 win over Century to start the season, but since then they've really had a struggle offensively. Only 6 points scored in the 2 games since then. Where's been the breakdown offensively for the Rebels?
Well, they've had some injuries. Up front on the offensive line, so that's never a good thing. They got an injury to their they rotate running backs, so their quote-unquote second running back, he's been injured. So that's happened. The Spring Mills game, what Coach Sandridge told me was they got away from them quick. And then last week at Tuscarora, the same sort of thing happened to start the game. And this week with the injuries, they got 8 total kids hurt, 6 starters, and they had to mix and match. And he said, we need to focus on us, and we need to focus on what we do, and that's run the football. And he said, we've been behind the last 2 weeks, and we're forced to do things that we don't want to do. We want to run to set up the pass, and they felt like they had to start out just throwing the ball to, more than they wanted. And when you get out of sync, and as Coach Clayton Anders used to say, you get behind the chains. Yep. That was not only just not getting any yards on first down, but he used that term for many things. So they felt, they were behind the chains a whole lot in that game, and then just couldn't get, back to their identity. So he said that this week they want to start the game and do what they do best and highlight JoJo Davis and get him running the football and do what South Hagerstown does.
Behind schedule. I remember Coach Anders always talking about being on schedule, keeping the offense on schedule. St. James, it sounds like kind of the same deal for them offensively. They really started off hot offensively, 46 points in their first 2 games of the season. Slowed down a little bit over the last couple weeks, just 30 points combined. And what's been the issue there for the Saints?
Well, Coach Root has said that they sort of kind of got in the same kind of game last week against Paul VI. They got down 21-0 real quick. And his motto is, we're going to pass to run. But his word to me this week from that, yeah, we want to pass and run, but we want to be able to pass on our terms, not pass on the terms of being behind. They got behind real quick. They didn't protect the football. They had 4 turnovers, and they had 3 interceptions and a fumble they lost. And that gets you behind the sticks, if you will, and gets you behind in points. Paul VI was a really good football team, real solid. But the Kiski game, he said that they played solid, had a chance to win it, and just didn't execute at the moment. So going into Paul, he thought that would be a game where he knew it was going to be a tough game. But if they could have kept things close to the vest, if you will, instead of those quick turnovers to start the game, it may have been a different story. So both teams, it sounded to me talking with both coaches this week, are coming off the same type of game. The games kind of got out of hand, won them quick, and they were doing things that they don't normally want to do. They, both of them want to dictate to the defense what they want to do. Talking with Coach Wood, he said they're going to use a lot of shifts and motions and tight end trades to change the strength. And Coach Sandridge says we're going to use some different formations to get people at the point of attack to be able to run the football and force the run on St. James. So it's going to be an interesting ball game.
Absolutely. Well, tonight's live coverage here on Antietam Broadband brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishing much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and their surrounding communities. Let's go back to that idea of the games kind of getting away from these teams, and you've been in the locker room and on the sideline for lots of years. And what can you do as a coach to kind of keep things from snowballing like that, keep things from getting away from it? What
you try to do is you try to have a positive message. And I've been in those locker rooms where it has been so positive, but the biggest thing you try to do is keep a positive message, and as we see the forest through the trees, let's try to find some positives. Let's get back. Let's when we get on offense, let's run our offense. Let's try to control the ball, move it down the field, and highlight that. Defensively, let's play sound defense. Normally, when teams have a lead on you, they're going to run the football. They might throw just to get a first down or to catch you off guard. But most coaches are going to look at it when you're up big. What can we do to get out of the game safe and healthy? But what can we practice? And so when you're on the other end of it, you're like, okay, we got to get back and get live competition and get back to our practice. And, sometimes you feel like you can get back in the game. And if the game's too far ahead of you at halftime, sometimes it's like, okay, we got to start getting ready for next week. You never want to say you're playing this week to get ready for next week, but sometimes that happens. That's just the real world of coaching. A lot of times us coaches don't like to put out there, but that's how it is. Right. Well, stay with us. We're going to have more coming up here from School Stadium. South Hagerstown hosting St. James here tonight. When we come back, we'll have Bob Parcelletti, third member of our broadcast team here tonight, down on the field, and he'll be bringing you an interview from down there. So stay with us here on Antietam Broadband.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
If I was the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown Kia.
Join breast cancer awareness in the fight against breast cancer at their annual Step and Stride event at Hagerstown Community College on Saturday, October 19th. The morning will kick off with a one-lap survivor car parade with vehicles decked out in all things pink, followed by the opening of the route for all walkers. Come out and support breast cancer fighters and their families. Breast Cancer Awareness, Inc. Here so that no one has to face breast cancer alone.
Running the bases, it's more than just about speed. It's about agility, endurance, and resilience. But injuries can slow you down. At Meritus, we specialize in keeping athletes at their peak. From prevention to recovery, from rookies to professionals, our team of experts are here to keep you at the top of your game.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
If I'm the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown, Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown, Kia.
Welcome back to South Hagerstown High School. Kickoff here between the St. James Saints and the South Hagerstown Rebels. The Saints coming in with a 2-2 record. The Rebels with a 1-2 record. And we're going to send it down to Bob Parcelletti on the field. He has St. James coach John Root. Bob?
Okay, how you doing, everyone? This is Bob Parcelletti. I'm with John Root, the head coach at St. James. Coach, you guys, say football is a long journey, but yours is a little shorter than everything else because of how you get ready, because you get started so late. How's it been getting everything together?
So, unlike public schools, our kids come in August, mid-August, and we really a lot of times don't even know what kind of kids we're going to have. So we have to hit the ground running. Luckily, we're working with really hard-working kids, and they're dedicated and so on. So, it's short for us, but we're ready to go. Our kids have practiced hard since August, and we're just excited about playing here at South High.
You're 2-2. You're at the halfway point already. But you look at your stats, and they're pretty pedestrian. What's been working for you guys to pull a couple of games out here?
So the first thing I'll say is, we're still relatively a young team. We play a pretty tough schedule. I had a coach many years ago that said, may we always be in the left, and ultimately for us it's just the win. We take each week at a time. Last week we lost to a really tough Paul VI team. We let one go the week before that with Kiski. We're ready to get back on track. Our kids have worked hard. St. James kids don't give up, and they're ready for a fight this evening.
This is probably a cool game for you guys because it's a county game. What's it going to take for you guys to make a go of it with South?
Yeah, we have 250 students. That's grades 8 to 12. That's boys and girls in our entire school. We're a much smaller school. South High is a good program. They've got a lot of kids. I think it's an evenly matched game. I think it should be good for both teams, and I think the bottom line is we just have to execute and do what we've been practicing all week, and things should be fine. But South High's ready for us. I know that.
Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Thank you, Coach Root. And getting ready for kickoff here at School Stadium. Just the second meeting between the Rebels and the Saints. St. James winning the first meeting between the two schools last year, 34-28 in overtime down at St. James, just a few miles down the road here off Sharpsburg Pike from South Hagerstown. And Pete, we talked about a little bit about JoJo Davis for South Hagerstown. Certainly the offensive person to watch for the Rebels. And tell us a little bit about him and maybe a couple players to look for the Saints as well.
Well, JoJo is a really shifty player. He can run the ball inside and outside, but they like to get the ball to the edge, take advantage of his agility and quickness. He's a tough runner, so he's going to lower his shoulder on you too. But he's got that ability in the open field to put a move, stick that foot in the ground, as we call it, and get north and south. He'll do that really fast to you. Coach Sandridge is real high on Braden Sisk, number 6. He says he's their do-it-all guy. He's their kicker, their punter, quarterback, free safety, outside backer. He never leaves the field. So he's their emotional leader and their team leader. And then on the flip side, Jaden Yates for St. James quarterback, who wears number 7. He's their guy. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Now, St. James, just to highlight, number 54, Alex Fletcher, he's 6'5", 295. He's a University of Penn commit. And
Kickoff to the Saints, taken around the 20-yard line and returned out across the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
So Alex Fletcher, he is their he's also one of their captains, they call it. So he's been in the program, D1 guy. Now they also have another D1 guy on their team. Jorge Diaz Nicholas is their kicker, and he booms the football. He is pretty special. And Coach Sandridge actually mentioned that yesterday when I talked to him and asked him about opposing players. The first guy out of his mouth was their kicker. And then he mentioned their offensive tackles as well. Max Vivier, number 74 for St. James, is 6'6", 275. So we got some pretty big boys playing offensive tackle for St. James.
And that's unusual for St. James, as Coach Root was mentioning, a small school, only 250 kids in the school, and to have 2 kids that size is a little bit unusual for the Saints. First down play for the Saints, run up the middle by Sam Stonebreaker.
Yeah, Sammy's a Clear Spring kid. He's from Clear Spring, right here, local guy. Downhill runner. Coach Wood told me that they don't have any hitters that are any runners that are big hitters, meaning hitting big. They're going to have big downhill, fullback type. You got to lower your shoulder to tackle him.
I remember Stonebreaker a couple of years ago at Clear Spring High School, and a nice runner there. Picked up 12 yards on that first play. So another first down here for the Saints early on from the 45-yard line. That was with 4 men up front. The handoff again.
So
to Stonebreaker.
So what we're seeing here a little bit in the beginning, Coach Root is both coaches got a plan, all right, with using their offensive line. And Coach Root's plan is he was taking his 2 tackles, putting them on the same side, going to try to run behind them a little bit. When South gets on offense, we'll talk about some of their stuff they're planning on doing. But you can see it was effective on the first down, so they were trying to hope they maybe catch South off guard. South kind of made a nice play there on that last play.
Stonebreaker picked up 2 and a busted play here. And Yates is going to keep it around the left side as Josh Davies lost his footing coming up to take that handoff. And
so Coach Root, first thing he said to me tonight, said the field is really slippy. Our kids are used to the turf, and it's going to take a little bit to get used to playing on this grass field. So you saw that right there.
Right away.
And there's a penalty.
And a 15-yard penalty. So that'll give St. James a first down after Yates picked up a yard on that scramble. First down and 10 from the 38. Yates throwing now. He has Xavier Colbert with the completion. Down close to a first down. Looks like it's going to be enough.
So they came out in a 3-by-1 set. We call it trips. So there are 3 wide receivers to the offense's right. Coach Sandridge yesterday said, asking what scheme do they do, and his first thing to me was their trips formation does it all. They do it all. They run out of it. They throw out. They got a great short passing game. They got a good screen game, and they got a good deep passing game out of their trips formation. So I'm sure Coach Witt's got a plan. If that's going to be successful, then we're going to see that a little bit tonight.
Timeout taken here early on by the Rebels. We'll remind you once again that tonight's live coverage here on Antietam Broadband brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishes much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and the surrounding communities. And that field, as you mentioned, Coach, with the rain that we've had the last couple days, certainly going to be a little bit slick out there. You can see the bare spots on the field, and this is just, we're just a month into the season. You can imagine what that field's going to look like in another month, right, after another month of football and soccer matches played here on this field. Right, yeah. Coach Ritton actually talked about that. I told him, I said, well, it's not really bad yet. So I said, at least you're getting getting in early in the year. There's still a little green out there on that field. Yeah. So after the timeout, it'll be first down and 10. Yeah, I believe they got that on the box wrong over there. Run up the middle by Davies. Hopefully somebody gets that corrected. Pick up of about 7 on the play, down to the 20-yard line. And Davies doing a nice job of keeping his feet there, breaking one tackle and picking up a few more yards. Yeah, he's another one of those downhill runners Coach Red talked about. So we got, fullback types playing fullback and tailback. They got Liam Hall in there now as the tailback to see if they feature him this run. Give is to Hall. He takes it down to the 15-yard line. It'll be another first down for St. James. Moving the sticks easily to this point. Yes. I think Coach Root's plan of moving the 2 tackles to the same side, he called it going a strong side, weak side, or big side, small side. Now they're not exclusively running behind the big guys, but they got South's defense a little bit of pickle. How which side are you going to choose to defend? This is Liam Hall once again. Gets out of 1 tackle and picks up a couple on first down. So practice yesterday, Coach Wellesley, the defense coordinator for South, Andrew Wells, he said one of the things he said that's the strength of their defense is ability to run the ball, run to the ball, and be able to tackle outside run plays. And you saw that on display right there. Their back 7, as we call it, their defensive back and linebackers, they're fast, and they really run. So we saw that on display there. Here's St. James back into their trips formation, so let's see what happens here. 3 receivers to the left. And a flag down. Encroachment on. It's a 5-yard penalty against the Rebels. Moves the Saints a little closer inside the 10-yard line to about the 8. They'll have a second down and 3 now. Same formation for the Saints. Jaden Yates in the shotgun, scrambling to his left. Throws incomplete, and they're going to have a late flag come in here. I think they're going to have a late hit called. Yeah, that was one of those where probably the South defender probably wishes he probably didn't do that. That was not. Yeah, there was time for him to pull up on that, and he went right in on the quarterback, made the hit. He's going to be flagged for it. And the personal foul is called. Wait a minute, they're calling. So maybe something happened. Let's see what the call is.
as he signaled both ways.
Okay, so 2 fouls on the play, and he's just going to replay that down.
Basically, 2 personal fouls. It's like they negate one another, so no harm, no foul. Let's just redo it again. So here we are back to 2nd and 3 here. St. James is back into their big, heavy run formation.
Hall and Stonebreaker in the backfield. Now another flag down. And this time looks like we might have a false start against St. James.
He didn't have enough up on the line of scrimmage. What that was, they're saying there, the offensive tackle was not on the line of scrimmage. Their helmet has to break what's called the belt of the center. If you're too far back and that helmet's not breaking the belt of the center, they call you not enough men on the line of scrimmage. So I think we got that fixed here.
2nd down and 8 now. Yates has the man there, incomplete.
Colbert.
Intended for Xavier Colbert.
Xavier's a North High transfer kid to St. James, so he's a local player.
Nice effort there by Colbert. Had it in his hands, but couldn't hold on to it as he hit the ground. So 3rd down and 8.
Those are one of those where you got 2nd and 3 and you get a 5-yard penalty where you don't even run a play and it puts you back behind schedule again.
See how the Saints handle it here. Hand it off to Stonebreaker up the middle. Gets up to about the 10-yard line.
So let's
Stopped there by a gang of rebels. 4th down and 5 here. Will we see that kicker for the Saints at this point?
I don't see him coming onto the field here. He wears number 84. So we don't have a play clock here at School Stadium. So St. James, I'm not sure if they're aware of this, but they're going to have to get picking up because the referee's got 5 and the back judge on the back far side. They did get it off at
Get
time.
the play off. Yates completes the pass, but picks up maybe a yard. Completed to Keenan Braylock, but short of the 1st down, and the Rebels defense holds. And they'll take over inside their own 10-yard line.
So I think Coach Root would like to have that 2nd down play where it was 2nd and 3 and make sure everybody gets up on the ball. Those are backbreakers. Those little things, they stuff your momentum, kill your momentum, if you will.
And even more so in the red zone, I would assume.
Right, yes, yeah. So we got a penalty on.
Flag on South
probably
here.
on the Rebels here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 Rebels on the field
Yep.
right now.
Well,
so that'll back them up even further into their own end.
I know Coach Rudd has a couple Canadian kids on his team. They feel right at home with 12 on the field here. It's 54 and 74, and number 1, I'm sure they probably feeling right at home. Number 52, Aiden Carter. He's another young man from Hagerstown. He's a North High transfer as well.
It's a big front 3 for the Saints. So 1st down and 15 here, and
we might have a safety. Nope,
looks like they're going to mark him just outside the end zone. JoJo Davis running east-west, and boy, he just stayed outside of the end zone.
That is really close. That was really, really close.
Second and about 19 here.
So one of the things Coach Root said, what gives, what South does to give them fits is run the ball to the edge. And then he felt really good about stopping the ball inside, and right there we didn't get a stop on an inside run. And that's what JoJo can do. He gets north and south. He can stick that foot in the ground and get moving.
Gain of 25 there by JoJo Davis, giving the Rebels a little bit of breathing room, and first down and 10 at their own 25. Rebels working out of the shotgun, and the handoff is to Davis once again.
Yeah, so Coach Sandridge, when I was speaking to him about what do they do well and what are they going to try to do, he said get the ball on the edge because they're kind of big inside the run. But we just saw another inside run play, and I don't blame them. Run the ball where where you have success and see what happens.
Pickup of 3 on the play, 2nd and 7 now. Layden Griever is the quarterback for the Rebels. Hands it off to Davis once again. This time he's brought down.
Yeah, that was Liam Hall.
Back at the 25.
Right. So when we talk about defensive football, and this is a play where South runs, it's called a pin and pull play where they pin guys block down and they pull people around. As a linebacker, you get what's called a run through those open gaps. And Coach Sandridge was like they're really good at a run through, and that's what Liam Hall, just to make that stop on JoJo in the backfield, was one of those run through plays.
Now the Rebels with trips, and now a man in motion on 3rd down, and the handoff again to Davis, and not much running room there for him.
No, that motion was to get the eyes moving, but then he turned up to try to block up inside. That's that old school eye back ISO where you have a lead back running up in for you, a lead blocker, I should say, that's blocking up in the hole for you. And so it's interesting how we get a little fancy nowadays, and but it's effective because that motion gives people call it eye candy, and it gets defenders looking and seeing what's happening.
Braden Sisk on to punt. Gets the kick away, bounces back towards the Rebels and downed.
And we're going to have a block in the back by 54 by St. James. That was, again, another unnecessary penalty where nobody's close to running the ball or catching it and running it or returning it. And in high school football, I don't like to point out guys who made a penalty, but that was out in the wide open. And he blocked him right in the back, and that is a no-no. You see that so much on special teams. We're not early in the season, but you see it a lot early, and it's one of those you try to get a feel or you think you maybe get blocking a guy on the side. But sometimes that side angle, what you think's the side and what the referee sees, two different things a lot of times.
So it is a block in the back, taking the Saints back 10 yards, so they'll start this drive in their own territory, but not far into it, at their own 48-yard line.
So that's one of those scoring percentage changes. You're down inside, the opponent's territory, and you get backed up 10 yards. That just, makes it a little bit of a longer field and lessens your chances of scoring here. So that was a nice play by the defensive line. And I'm not sure, I didn't see the whole play from the beginning on the replay if they were, because Coach Sandridge and Coach Wells told me they were going to do what's called move the front, and that was move the defensive line, like shoot them through gaps or slant them to one side or the other. And the way he came through that gap, the nose guard, I believe that was made that play.
Kiari Keys who made the stop, and now another run by Stonebreaker, and he's taken down in the backfield once again. for a loss. Good push by the defensive front. R.J. Franklin, 74 in there on the tackle for South Hagerstown.
So we'll see how this play works out here, and I'll give you another little coaching thing that we talk about as coaches on those Saturday morning film studies.
Yates' pass
Oh,
caught
what a
it.
catch.
Nice catch by Keenan Braylock inside the 10-yard line and finally brought down at about the 5.
That is an outstanding catch. That's an outstanding catch. Long time ago, when I was just a young coach, I had this was when I was in college, had a coach who basically said whenever you see a penalty on a special teams play, things don't go well right after that. And he had 2 plays. Now, finally, I got good kudos to St. James overcoming that. That was a nice play, nice pass, nice catch. Keenan made a really nice catch, nice run after the catch, and good job securing the football on the tackle because South was trying to strip him on the tackle.
Pick up a 49 yards on the play, and it will be 1st and goal for the Saints at the 5-yard line. Hall and Stonebreaker, and this is Stonebreaker into the end zone for the touchdown.
Yep, and that's one of the things Coach Sandridge said he was, having sleepless nights over is that trips formation and what they do out of it. So it's just amazing how, talking with both coaches, how they both, see the film and see what each team does good, what teams, might not do so well, what struggles, the players they have. It's, it's really interesting. Now here's Jorge Nicholas Diaz. Oh, what happened there?
Top that one and get any air under it. So the Saints with a 6-0 lead, 2:25 to go here in the first period. Stay with us. More to come on Antietam Broadband. High school football brought to you by Hagerstown Kia.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
If I was the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown Kia.
Back at School Stadium. Kickoff goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Mark, I was telling you on the PAT after that touchdown, it looked to me like the holder lost the ball and when he was trying to kick it. So I don't know. The grass is a little wet. The ball could have been wet. It's because I watched Jorge kick in practice. Saw him last Saturday kicking in games, and that is very atypical of him.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like something that would normally happen on one of his attempts.
Yeah, we call that operation, and the operation just, what the final part of the operation was there, but the next to last part wasn't.
So South takes over here now, 1st and 10 from their own 20. Handoff is to JoJo Davis. Picks up about 4 yards on the play, fighting for extra yardage.
So what happened there for St. James? We had a blitz. I believe that was Joshua Davies, number 6, was blitzing. And when he blitzed, he ran into the gap where the defensive tackle was, and that opened the gap. So, the outside backer, I'm not sure, made the tackle.
That was Dominic Corsi on the tackle.
Okay, yeah, he did a good job of collapsing that gap.
Second down play, and it's Davis again. Hit around the line of scrimmage and dropped. They're going to mark him right about the same spot.
And that's one of those run to the edge type of plays that Coach Root was worried about. I don't know if we mentioned it, but Layden Griever is the starting quarterback for South tonight.
Yes.
Braden Sisk is usually the quarterback. This is his first start on the varsity. And the reason why they wanted to do that is get Sisk more on the field defensively, special teams wise. And Sisk also plays some wide receiver.
Griever scrambling here, gets out of the pocket and out close to a first down. See where they mark him out of bounds. It looks like they're going to be about a yard shy, right around the 29-yard line.
All right, decision time. Early in the game here. You've been moving the ball a little bit. So they're going to go for it here.
Griever's back on the field, 4th down and 1.
So I wonder who we're going to get the football here. Oh, we got a timeout, Coach.
Take a timeout.
So I think they want to make sure, when you're in your own 29 and you're going for it, you better have a sure play.
Have the right play, exactly. Our live coverage here on Antietam Broadband tonight, brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishes much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and their surrounding communities. So this is one of 4 games tonight involving Washington County teams. Williamsport is on the road tonight at Clear Spring, at 3-0 Clear Spring. Boy, that's not something you've said too often in the history of that Clear Spring program. Good for them. Glad to see the Blazers are off to a great start this season. We're playing a Williamsport team that they've never beaten. Williamsport leading that series 17-0. Spring Mills is at North Hagerstown tonight. We know all about Spring Mills. They took it to South Hagerstown a couple weeks ago. Now they're over on the north side of town facing the Hubs tonight. And Hancock is on the road playing at 100, West Virginia. Rough night for Washington County schools last night. We'll get to that after this 4th down play. 4th and 1 for the Rebels.
So we got a trap coming.
Handoff up the middle. Davis breaks through and gets the first down. Still fighting for yardage, but he has enough for the first. Pickup of about 3 yards on the play for JoJo Davis, and the Rebels will get a new set of downs here.
That was, here we go. They got a fullback in leading, and they're running a trap where the guard from one side's pulling across the bow. Now, what happened there, this was not good from South. They had the fullback running into the guard, but there's a crease behind both of them, and JoJo was quick enough to stick his foot, get up the ground, and got enough yards to get the first down. So we got a fresh set of downs. Let's get back to doing what we're doing. Here comes a blitz again by St. James.
It's Davis off the right side, out across the 35-yard line, and brought down around the 37. And that's probably going to do it for us here in the first period. So it'll be St. James after one period holding a 6-0 lead over the South Hagerstown Rebels. Stay with us. More to come here from School Stadium. High school football brought to you by Hagerstown Kia.
When you need someone who will come through no matter what, someone who will go the extra mile, Cumberland Valley Heating and Air specializes in the installation of residential and commercial heating and air solutions. 24/7 emergency service delivers our promise of getting you the help you need when you need it. We're the tri-state experts in heating, air conditioning, and above all, comfort. Cumberland Valley Heating and Air. It's hard to stop a train.
Are you tired of living with water that is causing rust stains, hard water spots, or bad smell or taste? With S&L Water Solutions, you'll know from your initial call that your water is our priority. We offer well pump services, water testing and treatment, and salt delivery. No water or low water pressure? We fix that too. Let S&L Water customize a complete water system for your specific needs. Just because your water's clear doesn't mean it's clean. Locally owned and operated. Call S&L Water Solutions for an in-home estimate today. Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings.
Back here at South Hagerstown High School, start of the second period. Second down play. Another run by JoJo Davis and taken down for a loss. Back to the 34-yard line. It'll be a third down and 8. Glad to have you with us here on Antietam Broadband for our high school coverage tonight. Second of 4 high school football games we'll have for you this season. I'll give you a rundown of the rest of our schedule here shortly. We're glad you're here with us live tonight.
So here we are in the trips formation from south. We got 3 receivers to the left, 1 running back. This is normally a passive formation in this situation. So we're going to run a little sprint out. It's called a sprint out pass.
Griever lets it go, and it's nearly picked off. Marcello Anderson there on the defense. Pass intended for Braden Lansdowne. So it'll be 4th down and about 8 now. And Sisk will come in once again for the Rebels to kick this one away.
So we got the quarterback, Jaden Yates, deep for the Saints. Sisk. That's a nice punt.
High kick by Sisk, and that's Marcello Anderson taking the ball at the 29. Has some room, across the 50 to the 40, a flag down. Right in the area of a block in the back again.
Yep.
But a great return by Marcello Anderson. Took it into South territory.
I thought it was Yates back there, that 2 and that 7.
Yeah.
That is my mistake.
Just that little fold in the front of the jersey as he was back there. But it is going to be a hold against the Saints on the return. So it's going to erase a lot of that return by Anderson. Take the ball all the way back to St. James' own 35-yard line, and they'll start from there.
And here we go again, another, as I was telling you that story, one of those flags and what happens after you flag. But on the flip side of it, when you see a big play on special teams, usually the next couple plays are big plays.
Yes.
Big things happen as well. It's funny how the old people call it Mo. That good old momentum. We get momentum on our side. So they're back in their I-back, offset I-back, it's called. That's a fullback trap there.
Stonebreaker up the middle for about 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 5 here at the 40-yard line. You mentioned two games involving Washington County schools yesterday, and set a rough night for the Washington County teams. Boonesboro losing 36-0 to Middletown, and Smithsburg dropping a 38-0 game against Brunswick. 2nd down and 5, and stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
That was a nice play by South's defense. They're inside what we call 3-technique tackle. He was able to come off his block and his gap. And then the linebackers were able to make a play. And that's where one of those where we always say second level defenders, which are linebackers, are protected by those first line defenders or the D ends and the D tackles. So the defensive line did its job to set up for the linebackers to make a nice play and tackle in the backfield. Call those tackle for losses.
3rd down and 5. Ball at the 40-yard line at the Saints.
And
some movement up front.
Procedure, yep. South looked like they were blitzing. They were getting a little antsy. And whether they are or not, sometimes it's nice to coach your kids to, hey, we're going to, sometimes we call it a mug, a fake, get up on the line of scrimmage like you're going to blitz. And those offensive linemen sometimes get a little antsy for that. And that's one of these penalties takes you from a 3rd and medium to now you got to have which is a medium percentage play. Now this is not saying they can't convert, but this is a low percentage play.
3rd down and 10. Saints at their own 35. Yates back to throw under pressure, gets away and back out to near the 40-yard line. And he's stopped by Snyder-Mateer. Yates did a nice job getting away from the pressure there. 4th down and 6 now for St. James, and it'll be Jorge Diaz-Nicolas in to punt here.
So he's a
fair catch called for, but the ball out of bounds. They're going to spot it right around the 30-yard line.
So in special teams play, I asking each coach what stands out. Obviously, Coach Sandridge said the kicker and punter and talking about Jorge for St. James. And Coach Root didn't mention any specific player. First thing came out of his mouth is return game. We're going to try to kick the ball out of the end zone on kickoffs. And we're going back to the old school. Let's punt the ball out of bounds, directional punt it out of bounds, so we don't give them any chance to return the ball and make a big hitter on one of those plays. Coach Rutt has a lot of two-way players that play special teams because, as we mentioned in the beginning, being a small school. So sometimes it's not a bad strategy to kick the ball out of bounds, give you guys a little breather, get ready to play the next play.
South taking over at their own 30-yard line. 8:12 to go here in the first half. St. James with a 6-0 lead. Handoff is to Davis. Gets away from one tackler, but then wrapped up by three others in there on the play.
Yeah, though I couldn't tell who was who missed the tackle in the backfield. You hate missing tackles in the backfield because those tackles for losses. May have been Sawyer West, number 10, it looks like, but his jersey's pulled up too, and I couldn't tell if it was a 0 or a 6. I think it is 10. He did a nice job coming up. You just got to finish the play.
Loss of about a yard on the play, so 2nd and 11. Handoff coming this way and nowhere to run.
It's one of those get the ball to the edge plays that Coach Rudd talked today, South does so well, and Coach Sanders said they were going to try to do.
Jacob Gibson on the carry there, and he's taken down by Liam Hall. Davies in there on the play too.
Yeah, Coach Sandridge talked about the linebacker play for St. James. Highly respect what they do, and they're doing a nice job thus far. Oh, we had a little swing pass.
Griever completes the pass to Jameer Sims, but very quickly taken down after a pickup of about 2 yards.
So let's see, we got him backed up. to kick punting from their own 29. See if we can get some yardage here for St. James. I'm always a big fan of watching punt returns, kick returns. I like seeing those big return yards, but also like the defending part of it, get down and make a play before they can get up the field. So let's see what happens here. We got a nice punter with a real nice returner.
Marcello Anderson again receiving, takes it at the 35, gets around one defender to the 45. Still on his feet, reversing ground, and now going down the right side. Anderson still on his feet, a flag down as he crosses the 30.
I really would like to see that again because I think they're going to call blocking below the waist, but I'm not sure if somebody fell down and somebody ran into one another. So we'll see here.
Another nice kick by Sisk, but Anderson doing a great job seeing the defense, finding
right
his way
there.
down the
I'm
field.
not sure there's where the penalty. Yeah, I see what they called. I'm not so sure I 100% agree with that call. I think if the referee saw what I saw, they would agree with me.
So another penalty on a punt return. Moves the Saints back, but still in good position here. They'll start at the south 45-yard line, 1st and 10. 5:43 to go here in the second period.
So that's three penalties on punt returns for St. James.
3 receivers to the left, and Yates swings it out to Xavier Colbert. He takes it inside the 40-yard line, goes out of bounds around the 38.
This is going to be a penalty on St. James out here on the edge blocking. They called holding. It might come right here in your screen right there. We didn't get to see it, but it was a penalty. He was grabbing the arm, and you know when you're trying to block and it's wet fields, guys trying to get away from you. Sometimes his hands get out in front of you, and you're trying to hold on for dear life.
So it'll be a pickup of 4, and then the 10-yard penalty. Moves St. James back in their own territory. 1st down and 16 now from the Saints' 49-yard line.
So St. James is not known for a lot of penalties.
Ball's on the ground, but quickly covered by Colbert.
So the one thing that Coach Sandridge mentioned to me about St. James being a solid team, they don't beat themselves. Asked Coach Root, what gives you advantage in this game? He said our discipline. By my count, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 penalties already.
Wow.
And those 3 of them were on special teams. They were all 10 and 15 yard, 2 10-yarders and a 15-yarder. So that is those are killers. They're back, but that's count from where it happens.
Right.
And then you're not counting where they got to. So those things can really mount.
Yates with time and now flushed out of the pocket. Still on his feet as he gets across the 45-yard line.
And the Rebels did a really nice job in their coverage right there. They covered that up, and the O-line did a nice job on protection. And sometimes, you call these like coverage sacks, and then he started feeling a little pressure. Someone was coming free. I didn't catch the number from South, but you make him tuck the ball and run. And that's what Coach Wells wants to do. He said he wanted to keep him that's the defense coordinator for South. Keep Yates in the pocket, and we got a penalty there. He said he wanted to keep him in the pocket and then make him beat us throwing the football and not so much, running the football, because he could get out and do things out in the open field. So they did a nice job. He on his scrambles, you haven't noticed he hasn't got to the edge. Things been up the middle, and that's a lot of times that's what you want the quarterbacks to do, because athletes like Yates, they get on the edge, they can outside, they can make things, they can make you miss in the middle of the field, but it's more condensed with trying to run up inside in between the tackles to hit a gap, and that was a nice job. And I know that's what Coach Wells wanted to do defensively.
Saints taking a timeout here. We remind you that our live coverage here tonight from School Stadium is brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishing much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and their surrounding communities. We appreciate you joining us live here tonight, watching on Channel 6 and 806 Antietam Broadband. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome you from there as well. Replays of tonight's game on Antietam Broadband, Channel 6 and 806, Saturday and Sunday, 2 times to watch both of those days, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. That's September 28th and 29th, and then Monday and Tuesday, September 30th and October 1st at 8 p.m. And then we have live volleyball coverage for you on Wednesday, October 2nd. We'll have Williamsport at North Hagerstown, going live around 6:45 Wednesday night from North Hagerstown. Hope you'll join us for that one too.
Here we go. We got a little 2-by-2 formation.
Yates puts it up wide open down the middle of the field. Was Anderson, but just a little high for him to pull that one in.
He would have been walking into the end zone. And that's one of those, where they call these things a post route, a skinny post. And I'm not sure what their communication breakdown was between the quarterback and receiver, because Anderson could have been running a normal post, which is more towards the middle of the field. Skinny post is kind of towards the goal post, but you keep it out of the middle of the field. With the one high safety right there, he was trying to keep it out of the middle of the field, and with the ball was thrown out, keeping the receiver out of the middle of the field, and the receiver's running towards the middle. So maybe they'll get that corrected on the sideline and do that again.
There's the punt by Diaz-Nicholas.
You always like those punts to go inside the 20, so that's down inside the 19. Liam Hall was down there to catch it before it went bouncing backwards. That was one of those end-over-end type of kicks, and they tend to hit the ball. They'll tend to bounce backwards and go back up the field. So, a lot of times people say, well, you got to let the ball bounce and roll down. That wasn't a type of punt that's going to bounce and roll in your favor. It's going to bounce back towards you. So Liam Hall did a nice job getting that ball down.
Rebels offense back on the field now, 1st and 10 from their own 19. Layden Griever, the quarterback, has JoJo Davis behind him, and the handoff is going to go to Davis. Gets across the 20 and stopped in his tracks there by Max Vivier, 74.
Yeah, and he did a nice job of keeping those feet churning and bounces out of this. He almost gets out of that and makes a nice little play.
Joshua Davies there on the stop as well for St. James. Give it a gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 8. We're inside 3 minutes here in the first half.
South out to their, they got what's called 11 personnel, where 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 wide receivers. We got encroachment on the Saints here.
St. James. The 5-yard penalty gives the Rebels a 2nd down and 3 now.
So they're going to stay in this formation. They could have changed the play. Griever was over here on the sideline getting instructions from the coaches. So we'll see what happens here on their 2nd and 5 play. I think maybe they're keeping the same
puts this
play.
one up. Looking for Cassius Freeman. Incomplete. Anderson was in coverage there for the Saints. And pressure on Griever as well on that play. just got that ball out. 3rd down and a long 3 here.
So South's probably going to get back to doing what they do. JoJo in the backfield, spread the defense out.
3-man front for the Saints. Reaver swings it out.
Ooh.
That was a dangerous pass.
Yes, that was.
Intended for Kahori Alford.
I believe that was William Taft, the defender, and I think he was keeping his eye on the receiver because he may have been able to intercept this ball. That was just a little too high over his head,
Yeah.
but on the initial live, it looked like he was going to pick that off possibly.
Would have had clear sailing to the end zone if he had. It's a 4th down and another punt here for the Rebels.
So here's the 4th punt by the Rebels. Let's see what the Saints are able to do with the return.
Sisk kicks it away to Anderson, taking it to 35. Marcello Anderson, room to run again, going down the left side, across the 30 to the 25, and then dragged down at around the 22-yard line. Another great return by Marcello Anderson.
Hey, look on the flag on the field. There's no flags on the field, so that's a big play. Big play by the Saints here on the punt return. That is a really nice run. That is really nice return game there.
Jacob Gibson finally bringing down Anderson. The Saints now with 2:15 to go here in the first half in great position to add to their 6-0 lead.
And back to their trips formation that the Rebels were not wanting to see a whole lot of.
Fake the handoff to Stonebreaker.
And that was Braden Sisk making that play for the Rebels. And that's why Coach Sandridge said they want to get him out from under quarterbacks and let him play defense.
Looks like Xavier Colbert maybe shaken up on the play here.
Yes.
Kind of ran into Sisk as he was going down and goes off the field under his own power and heads to the bench to sit down there. So keep an eye on him. Second and 10. Saints at the South 23-yard line. Trips again to the right. Yates has the man just a little high.
That was
for Braylock.
Yeah, that was one of those Keenan Braylock probably once he had back. That was, St. James liked to play under the lights, but this could be one of these things where it takes a little bit to get used to or acclimated to seeing the ball under lights, because that looked like, that's right in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure if we ask him, he'd probably tell us that was the case. Now they're back in that 2-by-2. That last time they were on third down, they were in this 2-by-2 formation. See, that's the same play. They're running a wheel and a post, they call this.
Looking to the end zone and nobody there. Anderson was in the neighborhood, but that ball thrown out of the end zone. It's a 4th down and 10, and it looks like we're going to see Jorge Diaz-Nicolas for a field goal attempt here.
So we're on the, 25-yard line, 23-yard line?
Looks like he's setting up right on the 30.
So it'll be a 40-yarder here. He's got the ability to make this.
Jaden Yates, the quarterback, is the holder. Kick is up and short.
And they ran into the kicker, and then guess what? It's running into the kicker. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty.
Wait for the call from the
he's
official here.
Yeah, that will be a penalty.
Officials still discussing here.
And I think it was one of those where the Rebel defender, I couldn't, I think it was, I may have been number 30. I'm not sure what the number was. He came in and he basically tackled the kicker, but it was one of those, I don't think he was trying to. All right, there's a long discussion.
So it will be a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, in high school you have, you got a running into and you got a roughing, and the roughing the kicker, it has to be more egregious, where you're hitting his legs, knocking his legs out. That didn't happen that time. And again, I think it's number 30 from South. He was just trying to come to a stop, and obviously, you try to avoid that by teaching rushers to come under what's called the block point. So if your kicker's kicking from 10s, and then there it is right there, and you see him running into.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to hold up.
Right.
And kind of ran into Diaz-Nicholas on his follow through.
Yep.
The timeout called here.
Yeah, so that, he stayed up, ran into him. And sometimes that happens because Nicholas, he came through on his follow through, and he was really out in front of the ball. And so you can see his plant foot's way ahead, and he's hitting the top of the ball, and it drives him. He's what's called in front of the ball. His plant foot's out in front, so it's pulling him forward. You're always going to come forward because the momentum's taking that way, but he came really far forward. Yeah. And we call block points. It's about a yard in front of where the kicker's going to kick the ball, whether it's a punt or kick. And you're trying to teach guys to come under the block point so you don't run into the kicker. But right there, the kicker was well beyond the block point. So now if 30 would have been diving at his legs, that'd have been more than likely that'd have been a roughing the kicker. He stayed up and ran into him and looked like a nice tackle. But I don't think he was trying to do that. So they elect to go for it here.
Saints will go for it on 4th and 5. Yates looking across the middle and incomplete. Intended for Xavier Colbert.
So that was a miscommunication between quarterback and receiver. Ball was thrown just a tad early, or the receiver didn't get his head around. That's one of those, I'm not sure how they're coaching them on this, the small details of those routes. On that down and distance situation, you want to try to get to the sticks and get the head around. And but there was something amiss there that hopefully, they're going to get corrected here coming up at halftime. Well, we got 1:48.
The South will take over at their own 17-yard line.
And they got Siska at quarterback now.
Sisk, a little swing pass out to Kahori Alford. Picks up about a yard. Clock continues to run as we approach 1:30 left here in the second period.
I thought that ball was in. He did catch that. Yep. I thought they may have called that incomplete, but he did get that. Get his hands over it, get it caught. Yep. That's a catch. That's a catch by the NFL rule. College rules now. Nice job by him.
2nd and 9. Handoff goes to Davis. Takes it across the 20-yard line, still fighting there. And
so we get the ball to the edge. Try to get some.
23.
So this is a big 3rd down. We'll see what. There's probably time here to run this play, see what you get, and might have to start using some timeouts.
South with 2 timeouts left here.
Yep.
Not using one yet.
So they might just be content here.
Yeah, they're not in a big hurry to get a playoff here.
short chop. And we're back down to outside run.
Hand off to Davis. Going to be close to a first down.
And that is going to be, they're marking it first. So that's going to stop the clock to get the ball set. When they get the chain set, they'll put the ball in play, and you'll see the referee blow the whistle and get it in play. There we go, winding the clock. And I think South is just going to take it to the locker room.
When a great view in that replay there, you can see, Coach, the turf just flying up from underneath the cleats of the players, just really chewing up the ground out there tonight. Well, that does bring us to halftime. Your score, St. James 6, South Hagerstown nothing. Stay with us. We'll have our halftime report coming up after this break. High school football brought to you by Hagerstown Kia.
If I was the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown Kia.
Now's the time to advance your future through USMH. 5 universities, 1 local campus, all in downtown Hagerstown. For nearly 2 decades, USMH has served as the premier regional higher education center. And with more than 16 programs, USMH can help you achieve your educational goals with flexible scheduling, small classes, and state-of-the-art facilities. At USMH, we believe everyone should have access to an affordable education. Apply online at hagerstown.usmd.edu.
At an early age, I always saw myself as a law enforcement officer. I had friends that worked here that kind of pushed me in that direction.
It also goes back to the people that you're working with also. You know, the camaraderie that we have, the teamwork that we have, the family-like atmosphere kind of makes it hard to leave, and that you want to stay here and be part of something.
Now hiring correctional deputies. Entry level starts at $51,000. Lateral starting salary $53,976 plus a $10,000 sign-on bonus.
The Washington County Health Department Tobacco Education and Enforcement Program extends its heartfelt gratitude to these vigilant guardians of public health, to our esteemed tobacco retailers who've successfully passed their 2024 compliance checks. We applaud your unwavering dedication. Your commitment to refusing tobacco sales to minors not only upholds the law, but also fosters a healthier and safer environment for our entire community. Thank you for being the shining example of responsible retail practices.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
Welcome back to South Hagerstown High School. Halftime of our high school football game here at School Stadium. The St. James Saints leading South Hagerstown 6-0. Glad to have you with us here for high school football on Antietam Broadband. Mark Keller joined with Coach Pete Urish here. And Coach, interesting first half. St. James really moving the ball early on. Had that great first drive, stopped short of the end zone, but since then, really not a lot of offensive flow for the Saints.
No, it hasn't. I know that their motto is we're going to throw the ball to set up the run. Well, they were running the ball to actually set up the throw, but they really haven't been effective in the throwing game. They've been more effective in their run game, but I guess Coach Root is feeling like, we want to try to see what we can do in the passing game. Sometimes you do that and you feel like you can, do what you do, and I guess they feel comfortable. They feel comfortable. They are in control of the game because they're winning the field position game through their, through their punting and their special teams play. They're winning the field position battle. So it's been, but it has been an interesting where South is stuck to what they're going to do. You see that's Blaylock on that pass. I mean, that was a nice pass that got him going. That got him in the end zone, and they're back to inside run game. And then we really haven't seen this formation, I think, but maybe twice since then. I know after the special teams returns that they've had 3 nice punt returns, but they had 3 penalties. And on their 4th punt return, they got inside yards that really led to no, and they came out trying to do what they do, throw the football, which, that's their identity. Mm-hmm. But I'm with you. If maybe when they come back in the 3rd quarter, after talk about it at halftime, say, hey, we can run the football, so we'll run the football. So
on the South Hagerstown side, it's been a lot of what we expected. A lot of JoJo Davis. He's had a couple nice runs, but the Saints defense done a pretty nice job bottling him up.
Yes, they have, and that's one of the things that Coach Root said. What do they give you fit? What things can they do to give you fits? First thing out of his mouth was getting the ball to the edge. I asked Coach Sandridge, what's the best thing you all do? Get the ball to the edge. Coach, so they both know what the strength's there. And so Coach Roots, they've worked, quite a bit on getting, their outside backers. They run a 3-3 defense where they have 3 down linemen, 3 stacked linebackers, and 2, we call them overhang or outside linebackers. And they're doing a great job of running to the football and cutting that off. And when you could cut that off, a lot of things can happen. Now, south side of it, they had some success running the ball up inside a few times. We haven't seen them get back to that. So maybe, both coaches felt maybe from about the midway through the 1st quarter on to the 2nd quarter that this is our identity. We're going to show our identity. Maybe they're going to go in halftime and, get a collective group of coaches saying, hey, this is what we were doing. So maybe here in the 3rd quarter we'll see them get back to, their game plan that was specific for this game. Right. So, but I know what it is as a coach. Sometimes you feel comfortable in what you do, and so you don't feel comfortable in things you don't do. Yeah. So I think both sides. If I were coaching the game and being particularly an assistant coach, I would be in my coach's ear saying, "Hey, we, like for St. James, hey, Coach Rowe, we ran the ball good out of that. We call it 21 personnel, 2 running backs, tight end. Coach Sandridge, we run the ball inside some. Maybe we should go back to running inside. So we'll see what happens in the 2nd half here.
We talked a little bit about field conditions, and does that play a part in that you want to stay with what you're comfortable with?
Yes, exactly. I think that the footing part of it is, and I know Coach Root said to me that why I alluded to this earlier was about the field being wet. Our kids aren't used to it slipping. To me, that's when you want to go north and south and run north and south. But yes, you're right. Sometimes maybe sometimes like, oh man, field condition, that's not us to be able to run. So we got to say, all right, we got to get to us, and our kids got to get used to doing good. But that's a great point. A lot of times, some coaches could care less about field condition, and some do. So it's which way the wind's blowing. It's like, am I going to kick this? And so there's different strategies when it comes to that. And that's one thing I didn't ask either coach about, and I didn't follow up with Coach Root when he said our kids are slipping. We're used to the turf, so I wish I would have followed up when I'm learning here on the job, so I'll do that next time. So.
Like I said, we are seeing it out there on the field, and School Stadium, this field is notorious for, when you get rain and you get in the elements out there, it does become a slick field. And you see the turf coming up underneath their cleats. It makes it tough to keep your footing out there on the field. So we remind you our coverage here tonight brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishing much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and their surrounding communities. So stay with us here on Antietam Broadband. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll get ready for the 2nd half of play. Hopefully Bob Parcelletti will be joining us as well with someone here with a halftime interview. So stay with us. More to come on Antietam Broadband.
I should have pointed that out, and I might look at it.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
If I'm the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown Kia.
When you need someone who will come through no matter what, someone who will go the extra mile, Cumberland Valley Heating and Air specializes in the installation of residential and commercial heating and air solutions. 24/7 emergency service delivers our promise of getting you the help you need when you need it. We're the tri-state experts in heating, air conditioning, and above all, comfort. Cumberland Valley Heating and Air. It's hard to stop a train.
Are you tired of living with water that is causing rust stains, hard water spots, or bad smell or taste? With S&L Water Solutions, you'll know from your initial call that your water is our priority. We offer well pump services, water testing and treatment, and salt delivery. No water or low water pressure? We fix that too. Let S&L Water customize a complete water system for your specific needs. Just because your water's clear doesn't mean it's clean. Locally owned and operated. Call S&L Water Solutions for an in-home estimate today.
Welcome back to South Hagerstown High School. St. James leading South High 6-0 here at halftime as the South Hagerstown Rebel Band leaves the field here at halftime. And Mark Keller and Coach Pete Urish here with you. And Coach, St. James, as you mentioned, has kind of really controlled things here so far. But South only down 6-0. They're hanging around. If you're Jawan Sandridge in the locker room right now, what are you telling the team?
We're telling, hey, look. You know, we've been a bend but don't break defense. You know, we gave up one. We've done, give up some yardage on special teams, but they made some mistakes. But we just, that on the one that they actually were successful with no penalties, we held them. They went for it on 4th and 5, so they went for it twice on 4th down and no conversions. That's great. So that keeps your morale up. Now, what Coach is probably telling them, we have got to make some things happen with who we are and what we do. They're a run team. They had success running the ball inside some, so maybe if they start giving some success running the ball inside, that they'll be able to hit a big hitter outside. I don't think South's going to, rely on the passing game to get them back in. But when you can stick around in these kind of games, somebody's going to make a mistake here. We've had no turnovers. We had just one ball drop to ground, which is, interesting given the field conditions and the weather. But they both teams said they want to limit mental lapses, and both teams said they want to limit turnovers. Well, both teams have done a great job doing that. So, I'm sure Coach Sandridge is, keeping his team like, look, we are in this game, so we got to play to the end. And that's one of the things that, he mentioned that he has stressed all week to his kids is, losing the last 2 weeks in the manner in which they did is we got to put together a complete 48-minute game. And that was probably his message at halftime. Look, we've stayed in it. We're only down 6-0. They tried 2 field goals or tried a field goal and an extra point, didn't get anything from their kicking game. So let's go make it happen here. So we'll see. I guess South will kick off, or South gets the kickoff here to start. So maybe they'll get a big thing on the kickoff. And but I'm sure Jorge is probably going to kick the ball out of the end zone. That was and he can do that. So they'll probably start at 20. But let's get something together here and try to make something happen. And that's how you win these kind of games. Right. You just got to stay consistent. Whether you're down or whether you're up, you got to stay. You got to stay consistent. And so I do know that when you're losing the field percentage battle, you have got to you've got to find ways to change that. Like your punting game's got to change it. Your kicking game, it's got to change that. So that's something that that they're going to, or get a big stop in at St. James where they're backed up, that kind of a thing, to where they can flip the momentum and flip the field.
Yeah, one thing, South's offense has spent so much of their time deep in their own end of the field. They really haven't been able to get anything going to move even towards midfield, let alone into the red zone.
And when you're backed up, you want to be more conservative, and you don't want to take too many chances because, you're in the game. If it was, it was a blowout game, I get you would try it, but you're in the game down by 6, so you're trying to get your footing under you, trying to do what you do and then hopefully when you get out and closer to midfield, you can take a little bit of chances. So when you're backed up, you're a little more conservative by nature. You're trying to protect the football, protect the field percentage, and protect the field area, win that field zone, and try to flip it on a punt or on maybe a big play. And I'm sure that's what we're probably going to see this half.
Hey, on the St. James side, John Root in the St. James locker room, I'm sure he's got to be saying missed opportunities because of these penalties. We've had the ball deep inside their territory, but these flags have taken us back into our own end, and it's making it that much harder on us to get into the end zone.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because that's 3 penalties. That's taking them out of their. And one of the things we talk about field zones, when you're backed up to about the 20, you got actually inside your own 10, you got about a 3% chance. Out to that 20, maybe a 15% chance, and it goes down as you get across the 50. When you get inside the 40, your chances are 50 to 60 to 70% chance scoring, whether it's a touchdown or you're going to get points.
Right.
Well, they've had 3 times ball down inside the 40, the South's 40, and that brought them back on penalties.
Right.
And that, those are, demoralizing sometimes, and some teams can't recover. But we did hit a big play. Blaylock had a nice clutch, got down before they scored. So it's capable, and we see that. But if I'm Coach Root, I'm sure he's harping on that and saying, hey, look, we got to get back to doing us, being us. Let's get the ball delivered on time. Let's run the right routes. And then when we run the ball, let's do what we did to get 6 points on the board.
Sam Stonebreaker, the only one to get onto the scoreboard. He had the 5-yard touchdown run after that big play that Blaylock had. And, so tough night for the offenses here both ways.
Yeah.
But kudos as well to the South End St. James defenses, both doing quite well here as we get ready for kickoff here in the second half. St. James will be kicking it away to the Rebels. And as you mentioned, Coach, out into the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, Mark, I was telling you, it's interesting. St. James has 5 first downs running the football and only 2 passing. So, those are one of those stats where they're going to look at. And, obviously South's has 4 first downs now running the football. So, those coaches are keeping charts and keep stats. And, we talk about analytics. So those are some of the things you look at to say, hey, what's happening here, what's doing good, what's not doing so good. And, sometimes it just stands out to you when you look at it. So hopefully we'll see some adjustments being made on both sides of the football, and then how our in-game adjustments are going to happen here in the second half. So that's always an interesting chess match to watch. So you start out with a 2-back offense. And
Sisk in at quarterback again for the Rebels, and that keeps it on first down for a pickup of about 4.
Yeah, that's an old school quarterback sweep is what that is. And it's out of a shotgun. We toss it and run it, and quarterback runs to the edge. And that's a hard play to play because of all the blockers in front when you're on defense.
He had Davis right out there in front with him.
So we're taking a wide split down here, so this is interesting. They're going to try to run the ball over here to the edge here on this side. No, they're not.
Up the middle to Davis.
So that was one of those They're in that two-back offensive look, and they're running what we call an isolation play, where we're isolating somebody on one side, a linebacker that would be, and that fullback's going to block him, and we're going to run right behind him. But what I was saying, on the formation, they had a receiver down here way below the numbers, so that's a good time to run to the field. And if you pull somebody, you haven't won a numbers game, and you're using the field as your advantage. And see, the splits aren't as wide here.
3rd down and 5.
So we got motion, we got speed sweep, which is another get the ball to the edge type of
Alford
run.
has enough for the 1st down and knocked out of bounds close to the 40-yard line.
That was the first time we saw that play. That was they run a little bit of motion, but that was a motion, and they gave the ball to Alford on what we call a speed sweep. And this is like I said, this play we have not seen, so now's a nice time that you get a 1st down, get some yards, and let's see how it's going to go the rest of the half here.
Pick up 12 on the play by Alford, and it's a 1st and 10 from the 37.
So what we just saw there, so they had a spread formation, right, and they ran a little motion, and then that last play got them on the edge. So St. James and that's the same motion from the last play. Instead of giving it now to the speed sweep, they gave it to the backup inside. So you got them linebackers thinking, and you got their eyes following that motion. So that's that's one of those, you get them running the sideline to sideline, and then you, as coaches say, you punch them in the gut. So you run right up the middle. So that's what we just saw there. And that's one of these halftime adjustments that coaches go into games and they know that there's times they want to run certain plays. Oh, we got a penalty.
Unsportsmanlike penalty against St. James.
I missed that.
Yeah, didn't see where the flag was thrown.
So right here now, look, this is this is the second time the Rebels are on the St. James side of the 50.
Side of the field, yeah. 1st and 10 at the 42 of the Saints.
And there's the same play they just ran.
On the other way, and Davis, a quick shot up the middle, has the 1st down. And then some. Brought down by Alex Fletcher, but not after he picked up about 15 yards. All the way down to the 29-yard line goes JoJo Davis. Nice run.
South calls this play inside zone, what they're running. In other words, the linemen aren't blocking specific men, they're blocking area. And it's like an old school straight ahead dive, but you can hit it depending on where the blocking is. And they're running that motion across to get those linebackers. Here we see it again. And now they're running outside with Davis. That's a hold out there.
2 flags down there on the play.
Yep.
So this one probably coming back, and it is.
Yep.
And there you see it. 52 on 52.
Yeah. Somebody didn't like that number, did they? But this is a nice adjustment here South has made. Running this, some people call it fly motion. Motion the guy across. People call it speed motion. Different offenses, different coaches call it different things. But they've been running some speed motion. That's where you see number 1 going in front of the quarterback. They gave it to him the one time. And that one play that was successful for about 12 yards, 14 yards, that has now set up everything else because it's been inside hitters, and now they just went back outside. So it's interesting. If the game of football is interesting, you as coaches can sit there and say, you got to read it. But those kids get their eyes moving and watching, and it just it's amazing how you take something away where something kind of gives. Here's the quarterback sweep again. I think we're going to have another hold here.
Another flag down.
Yeah, it's
and
right here.
I was going to mention at the start of that play to what you had mentioned a few plays earlier, that space down here on this side of the field. The receiver lined up all the way out here to the sideline.
Yep.
And this time they did run it that direction.
Yep. Sometimes you use the field as leverage, they call it. And that's where we're using the field to, you know, spread him out as far as we can get him and try to run in that big, huge area between the end man line of the scrimmage and the wide receiver. And so that's what we just saw right there.
So another 10-yard penalty marked off against South Hagerstown. Moves them all the way back to the 47-yard line.
Yeah, penalties kill you. Penalties and turnovers.
So still a first down, but first and about 27.
That's basically this lead speed sweep.
Nowhere for
we
Micah
got
Evans
a
to run
penalty
there.
over there on that end. We got, I'm not sure who it is, if it's going to be on both of them, but it's way over on St. James sideline.
The officials are still conversing over this one.
Yeah, it's going to be some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct or a personal foul. We had a lineman out there on someone, and they were on the ground, and I'm not sure which way they're going to call this.
Looks like they're going to mark this off against South.
So what they're going to do here, see, that's 74 right there in your picture. He's going to drive him to the ground, and then
you see up here in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
And there comes the flag.
Yeah.
That's where we're seeing that.
And then I don't know if we'll see it, but there's.
So they mark this off.
Yeah, they're going to mark
15 yards each way.
Yeah. Which I've always asked, why, if it's going to offset like that, why do you do it?
Why do that? What's the reason?
They say it's their mechanics because they're offsetting, but they're dead ball fouls, so you got to mark them off.
Gotcha.
So if that's different if a guy jumps offside, so it's a dead ball. That means it's after the play, so they have to go through the mechanics.
So the ball placed back where it was, and it will be second down now.
Here's that motion again. They have run. Now we're going to go.
Sisk gets away from one tackler and then loses his footing out there. Right around midfield.
I'm not sure. We got a young man hurt for St. James back here in the secondary.
Saints player down.
And this would be one of those non-contact injuries.
Looking like that may be a cramp.
Yeah, that'd be unusual on a night like this, but it could be. You never know. And again, it comes down to kids drinking.
Right.
Boy, staying hydrated.
Not a very hot day today, but humid. It's been humid the last few days, so that will take it out of you as well.
Yeah, it was quite muggy. I was right out here, right off to the side on School Stadium here out on the practice field yesterday, and I mean the bugs were flying, and it was as muggy as could be.
While we have a break here, we'll remind you our live coverage tonight brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishes much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools they represent, and the surrounding communities.
Yeah, I believe that was Marcello.
Yeah, Marcello Anderson, the player who was down there for the Saints, and he may have run as far as anybody in this game tonight with the length of the returns he's run this evening. So maybe that cramp a little understandable.
Right. tell you what.
3rd down and 30 from midfield. Sisk looking downfield, and that is going to be intercepted.
Yep. Now, what's been interesting, St. James has been susceptible to the deep ball this year. They gave up 3 big deep ball last week, and they had 7 in the previous games before that. Talking to Coach Sandridge, he had seen that, but he said we're not a big deep ball throwing team. So, but he's wide open. He's wide open. If he could have delivered the ball to him, it may have been a different story here. But it was underthrown. But, you know, South, again, is not, you know, they will tell you they're not passing is not their big thing. But when you get behind the sticks like that, it was what, 3rd and 27, you know, that's as good as a punt sometimes. That's what you say. That's as good as a punt. But you still like to live the play, you know, your own downs. Oh, we got a little, you know, shift, and here we go. We're back to running the football, and they're heavy run formation.
Sam Stonebreaker taking it to the right side. Pickup of about 5 yards.
Yeah, so I watched the Saints practice this, but they lined up in a 4-1 formation, and they shifted to a double tight end type formation to try to, you know, and their idea was we want to try to dictate to the defense what we want to run what we want, and that's what you want to do on offense a lot of times as well.
2nd and 5. Yates under center again, hands off once again to Stonebreaker. This time, nowhere to go.
Tell you what, South did a really nice job. Those guys on the heavy side, because he had the 2 tackles over to one side. South did a nice job stopping that.
Tim Barnes in there on the tackle.
Right there is where you see one guy took out 2, 54 and 74, and you know it's a double team, but he got penetration up the field, and that made Stonebreaker have to bounce. When that happens and the running backs run east and west, it gives your second-level defenders a chance to run and make tackles, and that's what we just saw right there. So, you know, great job by South here. So 3rd and 5, and we're in the I-back 21 personnel, which is their run formation.
Yates looking to throw, gets it away and complete.
Completed it to Colbert. That's a nice job on that.
Xavier Colbert with the reception and the 1st down. St. James moves across midfield.
And I'm not mistaken. This may have been the first or maybe the second pass they've thrown out of this formation. If they did throw before, it had to have been early in the game. And I may be mistaken, but that lulls you to sleep. When you start seeing that, that's the same as that, what we call the emotion, the eye candy, you know, gets those eyes moving. Well, here you get fixated on stopping the run. It's a medium down, 3rd and 5. It's still a run down, and they threw the ball out of it. So nice kudos to St. James there. They had a guy moving that wasn't on the line of scrimmage. That's going to be coming back, which is an interesting take to me. Both Coach Root said, you know, keys to victory. One was their self-discipline. You know,
actually, they're calling this against South Hagerstown.
Oh, they did they? Holy cow!
Encroachment.
Well,
definitely a St. James player not set when that ball was snapped.
So that could have maybe went one of those either way kind of a thing. See, he maybe somebody was lined up offside. A replay didn't catch it, but he stepped up right. You got to be set for 1 full second before the snap, and the St. James player wasn't, and he wasn't even on the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So he needed to be on the line of scrimmage.
The 1st down and 5 play.
Yep.
And it's Josh Davies getting this ball to about the 40-yard line. That'll be a 2nd and short. About a yard to go. 5:40 to go here in the 3rd period.
You know, Mark, you were asking me during the halftime report about what to do. And here we are. We're seeing it.
Yeah.
We're seeing it from both sides. So Nice job coaching by both teams, recognizing what they do and don't do. And you know, it's not sometimes it's your identity. I want to stick to my identity. But sometimes when you go into a game and you have certain things that you want to do, you got to stick to that because it may not be working right away. And, you know, it's like that, you know, a numbers game. You know, the more I try it, the, you know, higher the percentage of chances.
Anthony Pierce on that carry stopped at the line of scrimmage. Got maybe a half a yard, so 3rd and short now.
So this will be interesting here, what kind of play we get, what kind of defense we get. We just got with our even front here.
Yates hands it to the fullback.
Yep.
It's across the 40 to about the 36-yard line. Here's Liam Hall. And a first down at the South 36. Under 4.5 to go here in the 3rd period.
So St. James is sticking what they started out in. Yeah, maybe they heard it during halftime, Mark. You know, they're staying with their heavy run, straight ahead run game.
Sam Stonebreaker.
Maybe he gets another first down here.
He's up across the 25, and that will be enough for a first down.
I know South is resting 2 of their starters right now. Was that R.J. Franklin, number 74, and Kiari Keys, number 51, are coming back into the game. And they're their normal, what we call 3 technique plays on the outside shoulder of a guard, and nose guard is where Keys plays. So let's see if they make a difference here.
First down and 10 at the South 25. Yates hands it off to Stonebreaker. It's down inside the 20-yard line.
And right there is that what we call isolation play where the fullback's leading up inside. And that is Liam Hall leading Stonebreaker up there. That's a nice run through the tackle by Stonebreaker. He did a nice job running through the arms of that Rebel defender. I didn't catch his number.
Picked up 5 on the play. 2nd down and 5.
Now, that was a play they practiced in practice. It was what we call a fullback trap. They're pulling a guard, trying to block an inside defensive tackle. And a young man got tripped up. That was supposed to be pulling there, and that's what blew it all up, those inside defensive tackles. They looked like they may have been stunting one or both those the inside defensive tackles, which is Franklin and Keys, the guys that just came back into the game. So they're offensive players as well. So sometimes you got to try to get them some breaks,
right,
and you know, during the game. And that's looked to me like what they were doing right there. Now they're back in and create a little havoc here.
3 receivers to the right. Yates rolls to the left, has the first down, and goes out of bounds near the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him out at about the 12.
And that's one of those where Coach Wells is probably not too happy because that's not what their game plan was to do. Their game plan was to keep him in the pocket. And you can see the defensive end on the Rebels' right side, he lost what we call contain. He didn't keep him in the pocket. He was kind of head up on the offensive tackle, rushing with what we call inside leverage instead of keeping his outside arm free and making that quarterback step up. And Yates is the type of kid who's going to run, you know, see that and go. He can motor. That's a nice play here by the linebackers.
Snyder Mateer, Ryan Ragland in on that tackle, dropping Sam Stonebreaker for no gain.
Yep, and it looked to me like Mateer was running a blitz. We call those run blitzes. You send one linebacker through a gap. Those are you know, if you hear on TV or hear in other games about a run blitz, that's normally what that is. When you bring, it's just like adding a 5th defensive lineman. South Hagerstown plays what we call an even front defense.
2nd and 10. Yates rolling out to his right. Gets inside the 5 and into the end zone. They're going to mark him out of bounds. Out of bounds inside the 5, around the 2-yard line. So it's going to be close to a first down here.
Yeah, that's really close.
Needed to get to the 2 for the first. It's going to be very close.
Let's see. Our camera's going to see if we'll see if he does step out of bounds.
I think he was still in bounds.
I think he was in bounds. I think he was in. We need to buzz down, tell them to see the replay. He did not step out of bounds. Our replay's got that. Hey, nice job up there with the cameraman. Nice job with that. So what I was saying is South plays what we call an even front defense, 2 defensive ends and 2 inside defensive tackles and 2 inside linebackers. They play what's called a 4-2-5 and 5 defensive backs. It's an outside 2. Technically 2 outside backer, but we call them defensive back types and call it a 4-2-5. And that's where those, inside players are the strength of South's defense.
So the Saints take a timeout here. They'll have a 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. Tonight's live coverage here on Antietam Broadband brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishes much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools they represent, and their surrounding communities. We greatly appreciate Hagerstown Kia supporting our live broadcast here on Antietam Broadband. Also want to give a happy birthday wish to Al Mason, our sound tech here at Antietam Broadband, celebrating his birthday today here with us at School Stadium.
Happy birthday, Al. All right.
So Saints on the move here. 2 yards to go to the end zone. Been a lot of run here. I assume we'll see the same here. Handoff is to Liam Hall. He is in for the touchdown.
Well, we got one saying he's in, and yep, all righty. It's official when the white hat does it. The line judge on the far side didn't raise his hands, and that was on his side, so we should have expected him to raise his hands, and sometimes that happens. I've been a part of many of those where that ball's breaking the plane and gets over. There's their dispute that the knee was down before he gets over.
We did see a flag thrown down here. I don't know if we're going to have a unsportsmanlike against the Saints.
So it's going to be after the play. It'll be a dead ball. So what happens is on these, when it's a dead ball penalty, it doesn't wipe out the touchdown. So it meant the play had already happened. So somebody did something not sportsmanlike conduct. So it's a 15-yard, and you got your choice to take this on the kickoff or take it on the try. So South's doing, to me, I would take this on the try as well. It's going to be really hard to pick up, extra points. Now, with their kicker, I was going to ask, my question was going to be to you. If you're a coach, what are you going to do? Go for 2 or kick? In
close, I think I would try for the 2, but
right.
Yeah, you're definitely going to try here. This is a
there he goes.
Long extra point attempt, and good by Jorge Diaz-Nicholas.
And that's the Jorge I saw in practice right there, Mark, that booming of the ball. And what I saw last week in their game, where when that ball comes off his foot, you can really hear it. And sometimes kid with his ability, you see the difference. So there's a nice shot of the St. James student section. I knew they were bringing 2 bus loads of students over. Coach Rudd told me about that. So shout out to the St. James Saints fan section.
Always good to see. School supporting their team like that.
Yeah, that is cool to see. Last week when at their game, I was their Pope Paul VI game. I think every other sport that was they sponsor had a game away, So John said, Coach Ritt, that is, said that they didn't have a lot of excitement from the students. All my years. Okay,
I was just going to say, St. James is one of those schools. I love watching a game down there at St. James. It's such a great atmosphere, especially, and they play most of their games on Saturday afternoons down there. It's just a great feeling down on that campus,
right,
to see those games.
So, I have never been to a game at St. James. I have never been. That was my first one, and it was really cool atmosphere. And I've been there many times. We go out of. Coach Rudd said, well, that's what he's going to do. That's what he did, but. Yeah, I've never been to a game there, so kind of an interesting deal.
So the Rebels now trailing 13-0. 59 seconds to go here in the third period. And we saw the offense starting to move the ball a little bit, but penalty after penalty after penalty on that drive just drove them back into their own territory, and they just really couldn't bounce back.
Yeah, they had 3 penalties on that last drive, and those are killers. You got, particularly you cross the positive side of the 50, and you end up, throwing an interception with, what was it, 2nd and 27, 3rd and 27?
3rd and 27. Here's Sisk to Alford. They're going to call it a catch. And that would be the second catch for Alford, where he's going to the turf. Get a better look at it here.
Yeah, this is Griever back in. Layden Griever. Ooh.
And you see the official here on the near sideline immediately calling that a catch. So pickup of 25.
Now that's something the Rebels needed. Oh, we got a blitz coming.
And Griever rolls out to his right, and he's going to throw an interception.
So I'm going to talk to you about something here, Mark.
And it's Braylock, his second interception of the evening for Keenan Braylock.
Whenever you talk, we got another penalty. We got a penalty down here, way away from the ball. Now, here's what you need to do on these interceptions. Why turn and run all the way over here? Here's why. You turn and run straight up the field. All your players are running to the football. All their players are going to be on this, away from that, because they're blocking.
Right.
So run north and south, treat it as a punt return. It's called get up the near hash. Never run back across the field. But we see it every Sunday, and you'll see it on Saturdays in college football. And trust me, whenever it happens, those coaches are not happy, because every defensive coach I've ever talked to and coached with over the years get north and south and get up to near hash.
And it makes perfect sense when you explain it that way, that where the players are going, the direction they're headed when the turnover is made. Yeah, go straight up field, and makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So it's an unsportsmanlike call against the Saints.
That's another.
I hope that Coach Rutt doesn't give laps for penalties, because the Saints are going to be doing a lot of running this week.
That's 10 penalties I have, and I may have missed one. I know this is not the type of game that he was expecting.
Right.
And I know it's the type of game Coach Sandridge even said about St. James. They don't commit penalties and they don't beat themselves. They've been fortunate enough in this game here to have control of the game.
Yates with the pitch to Stonebreaker, and he's got lots of room. Stonebreaker across the 40 to the 35 and run out of bounds at around the 33-yard line.
And I think we saw one tall sweep earlier in the game that went to the boundary, and it didn't go for much. And there we had one into the boundary that went quite some distance, which is always interesting. Running an outside run play, we talk about running into the boundary. From the hash to the boundary is only 17 yards. So that was, and again, that's good coaching. That's something that they're seeing. That's telling them to run the ball there. most often those kind of plays you run to the field to give yourself an advantage of having 34 yards to run opposed to 17.
1st and 10 at the South 35. Yates hands it up the middle, Liam Hall.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to start seeing now with St. James is back to that inside run game, hammer them, and then hit a quick hitter.
Hall picks up 8 yards, and that's going to do it for the 3rd quarter here. So St. James puts another score on the board, and they're moving the ball again. 13-0, the Saints leading the Rebels. Stay with us. 4th quarter to come here from School Stadium.
Get phenomenal financing and the best inventory in over 4 years. It's time to fall into savings at Hagerstown Honda. Right now, get 0% financing on the Honda Prologue, the first all-electric midsize SUV from Honda that seats up to 5. Hop into the Honda Accord and get 3.9% financing for up to 72 months. And the Honda CR-V with 2.9% financing for up to 36 months. Or choose the Honda HR-V Sport, 3.9% financing for up to 48 months. Come fall into savings at the dealer that makes it easy, Hagerstown Honda.
Looking to buy or sell your home? At Real Estate Innovations, we do more than just list and sell real estate. Since 2009, our agents have been offering detailed knowledge of local communities, housing trends, and the overall real estate market. With offices located in Frederick, Hagerstown, Greencastle, and Spring Mills, we have you covered. Call us at 301-745-1500 to connect with one of our real estate experts.
Back to School Stadium, getting ready for the 4th quarter. St. James leading South Hagerstown 13-0. High school football on Antietam Broadband, brought to you by Hagerstown Kia. Glad to have you with us. 2nd down and 3 play, and it's another run. This is Josh Davies.
Yep, this is a weak side run. We got someone injured. That Keys.
Yeah, that is Kiari Keys.
Yep. It looks like they're treating him for a cramp. Might be that spot on the field.
It is very near the spot where Anderson went down earlier.
Yep. I think Anderson maybe just a little bit towards the middle, but in that same general area. So,
pickup of 2 on that play. Saints will have a 3rd down and 1. And this one could really be a backbreaker for the Rebels if St. James is able to score here.
Yep. Yeah, I tell you, for all the penalties St. James has had this evening, we got 10 right now. I mean, it could be 11. They've seemed to overcome them.
Yeah.
They've seemed to overcome them. Sometimes that's your ability to overcome, and sometimes, the other team you're playing doesn't take advantage. But, and sometimes that's hidden because the 3 special teams penalties, St. James didn't get. They got one, I guess they got the big play to Braylock there. And then the other one where they didn't have a penalty, they got nothing out of it.
Right.
So it's, kudos to South there, their defense. So maybe they'll, down inside here, they're, we call this the going in zone. You get inside the 20, people call it the red zone, and then going inside the 10, we call it the goal line. So they're in this going in zone, kind of teetering right on the fringe of the red zone. So they got, looks like they're playing a 5-man line. So they got people walked up.
3rd and 1, handoff to Hall, has the 1st down and more. Gets down close to the 10-yard line.
Yep, and that's one of those fronts where you move people up, and they blitz they brought 2 linebackers up close, and if you get a hat on a hat like we're going to see right here, and then you can hit to the 2nd, 3rd level really quick. And what I mean by 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level, the defensive line's 1st level defenders, linebackers 2nd, and 3rd level is in South's case, the 3 defensive backs, the free safety, and the 2 corners.
First and goal from the 10. The pitch is to Stonebreaker. Flag comes in.
Yep.
Probably going to be a hold against the Saints.
Yep.
Stonebreaker picks up 4, but that's probably going to come back. It is a hold
it is.
signaled against the Saints.
Yeah, they're going to call it right there on 74, Max Vivier. He had, was that R.J. Howitt, number 15, had him held. And he may have made the tackle. He was grabbing his jersey. And that's so hard sometimes with linemen. You don't want them to hold, but sometimes they want to try to, they could get by with a little bit. And I know, as coaches, it's like, just let him go and we'll live to play the day. But sometimes I've seen it not called,
Right.
So, but, you don't want them to hold. This puts you back here, again, behind schedule.
First and goal from the 20 now. The pitch to Stonebreaker to the left side. Still going, Stonebreaker. And he gets it down close to the 10-yard line.
Yeah. So he just made up all those yards, but they lost it down. But we got second and 10, second and goal.
Second and goal from the 11 we're going to have. So nice pickup of 9 there for Stonebreaker. Another South player coming off the field.
The one thing I'm starting to see, and it's really, we got a monitor in front of us, folks, that really helps us out to see, is up front, the battle is starting to be won by St. James.
Yeah.
They're big guys. Everybody uses the term of leaning on people. Yeah, I'm leaning on. And it's just a term, a coaching term. You're really not leaning. You're trying to drive people off. But right now, St. James's big boys are doing a good job of leaning on South's kids. That's an outside run, and that is, you got to do that every now and again. But third down, coming up here, and so let's see what they're going to do.
Nice pursuit and tackle there by Jacob Gibson, 26.
And that's what South's defense does best, is run to those, outside run plays. And it's hard to, you can catch them like we saw in the toss sweep with Stonebreaker earlier, but that right there, it's hard to catch. Now we got a little bunch trips where they're all bunched up out here with the 3 receivers.
Third and goal from the 14. Yates rolls out to the left.
And 2 receivers running at one another.
He's looking for Colbert there. And I think the Saints are going to send in the kicking team.
Yep.
See Jorge Diaz-Nicolas once again. Watch that play again. Yates.
Yep.
Nice throw. Yeah, just right in between two receivers and just a little out of the reach of Colbert.
What happens is, on those kind of plays, you call it scramble drill. You practice it defensively, you find the nearest receiver, and you man him up. But you also practice scramble on the offense. I'll let this kick happen and explain that some more.
30-yard attempt from Diaz-Nicolas is up,
Made it.
And it is good.
But on those scrambles, and this is what you see on TV for those folks that, if you watch, I tell you who's really good at it. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're really good at it. And you'll even hear Mahomes, Kelsey, those people, Andy Reid talk about, scramble drill with the receivers. That means you try to run with the quarterback to get yourself open, but you don't want to run. You try to avoid running at your same guy. You try to run over him, underneath him. But right there, we had 2 guys, and probably since Colbert was coming across 20, maybe they were trying to go under, or he should have planted and come back to the corner. So you try to give spacing to your quarterback. And so, you could tell the receivers knew they had to scramble there.
We remind you, our live coverage here tonight brought to you by Hagerstown Kia, the dealer that makes it easy. Hagerstown Kia wishes much success to the student athletes participating in tonight's game, the schools that they represent, and their surrounding communities. 16-0, the Saints leading South Hagerstown here at School Stadium. 9:18 left in the fourth quarter. It'll be the Saints kicking it away. Diaz Nicholas.
Now that's an interesting, we run a little squib kick here. I'm not sure the strategy on that, why they were, maybe they want to practice a squib kick, and because last week they kicked off at they kicked the field goal with 3 seconds left in the game, and they had to kick off, and so they kicked it deep in the end zone, and I don't think Coach Root wanted to kick it deep in the end zone.
Yeah.
So, because that gives the offense another play, but they just took a knee and called it a day. But so maybe that was something they wanted to practice here. I mean, you got control of the game. It's still 9-10. It's not out of reach yet, but, you know, something you can do. The Rebels almost had 12 on the field again. They're back
First
running.
and 10 from the 32. And it's JoJo Davis picking up about a yard. 2nd and 9. Been a quiet second half for JoJo Davis.
Yep. Good. Griever's back in playing quarterback. I know South next week's going to get quite a few young men back, so their team is going to look a little different.
Flag down. We're going to have a delay of game call against the Rebels. Rebels play at home here again next week. They'll host Thomas Johnson coming up from Frederick. And St. James will play a Thursday game up in Cumberland. I'm sorry, that'll be here. That'll be at St. James. Allegheny coming down to play the Saints on the St. James campus. 2nd down and 13. JoJo Davis again picking up about 5. Ball's at about the 34-yard line. And Coach, we talked last week about our last game about that compact schedule. We're nearly at mid-season already.
Right. Yes, we are.
Week 4, and in a 9-game season, it does go so fast. Griever's pass defended there by Marcello Anderson.
Yeah, they right down here. This back judge is going to call holding on him. You're going to see it in the screen here. He's going to have his jersey. Yeah, he was holding him. I'm not sure if they're going to call pass interference or they're going to call defensive holding. And it was holding. Yeah, he had his jersey. Oh, they called pass interference.
They are calling interference against the Saints. Well, undoubtedly, one thing that the Saints will want to clean up, and John Root will want to clean up, is the penalties before they take on Allegheny next week.
Yep.
I think the message might be, you got away with it this week.
Yeah.
You may not get away with it next time.
No.
Here's JoJo Davis down the left sideline.
So that's where these penalty things kill you. You think you make a nice stop, you give up pass interference, get 15 yards, and then there he is, JoJo. This is what he does. He does a nice job of running in traffic, and he's not going to get brought down just trying to grab his jersey. He's a shifty runner, and he's a strong runner.
Takes it inside the 30-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 27. Big play from JoJo Davis. First down for the Rebels. Just under 7 minutes to go. Saints lead at 16-0.
Right down below us, we got the South Hagerstown student fan section. They're a little excited over that run. We had a little tackle for loss there on that play.
Jameer Sims trying to get around the left side there.
Another penalty? No, I thought we had a penalty.
Aiden Carter with the stop there, loss of 1. We'll have a 2nd and 11.
And here's it.
Up the middle to
yep.
JoJo.
And that was their version of a trap. We had the left guard, I think it was R.J. Franklin pulling.
Picks up 2.
Maybe it wasn't Franklin.
Ball's right on the 25-yard line. I'm a little surprised that South isn't playing with a little more tempo here.
Right, me too.
Time running down. Coming up on 5.5 minutes left. They do have all 3 timeouts left. 3rd down and 8. Flag down on the far sideline as Davis loses his footing.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because St. James was bringing a run blitz from off the edge, and that's actually where they made the tackle. So I'm not sure if somebody came across early. And seeing right there, you got that 16, Anthony Pierce.
Calls against the Rebels, but declined.
So that's a smart penalty. It's, you take the yardage, it's, push back, give him 3rd, put him in 4th down and long.
4th down and.
So you're thinking they got to throw the ball here. Calling timeout.
Yeah, South is going to call timeout now with 5:19 to go. Well, we thank you for joining us here for our live coverage of high school football on Antietam Broadband. If you're watching on channel 6 and 806, you're watching on YouTube as well. We appreciate you joining us. Replays of tonight's game, Saturday and Sunday, September 28th and 29th at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. both of those days, Monday and Tuesday, September 30th and October 1st. Replays those nights at 8 p.m. Then we'll have live volleyball for you Wednesday night from North Hagerstown High School as the Hubs host the Williamsport Wildcats. We'll go live around 6:45 on Wednesday night. That'll be live on Antietam Broadband, channel 6 and 806.
That's going to be a little match right there.
Absolutely. High school volleyball in Washington County is something to see for sure, and those are 2 powerhouses,
yep.
Williamsport and North High.
Have been for quite some time, too. Those 2 schools.
Absolutely. And then Coach Urish and I will be back with you next Friday night from Williamsport High School as the Wildcats host Boonesboro. 4th and 10. Griever rolling out and taken down. It's Josh Davies with the sack.
So I know that gets to be frustrating when you run a sprint out pass and you don't get a chance to throw the ball. And I can tell it's like some of the South receivers are a little upset here. But part of that is you got the young man running, trying to get free to get you the ball, but you got to kind of come back to the quarterback.
Right.
And there were some standing and watching, and you got to help him out. So that's one of those scramble things, again, where you got to help the quarterback out. You got to try to come back to him and run where another receiver isn't.
Right.
And so that's hard from, this is Layton Griever's first start, and it's hard when, it's your first start, you're trying to make a play. He doesn't want to get sacked. He wants to make a play there. But St. James did a nice job of, defending it. But what hurt South is they had a penalty. They had a tackle for loss, a penalty before that, kind of helped them lose some yards.
And Saint's taking a timeout here.
Yeah,
just before that first down play.
I think they were getting ready. Something didn't look right with them, and I think Coach wants to. With 5 minutes, 10 seconds up by 16, if you can, we always call it the 4-minute offense, and that's with 4 minutes. If you can get 2 first downs, you can usually kill the clock. Well, we're at 5:10, so maybe 3 first downs here, and you can get more first downs than that, but that's the goal. Is you want to get a couple first downs, and if they use their timeouts and. So you want to just want to run the clock out. So you want to run the ball and keep the clock moving.
The Saints have done a nice job of running the ball here in the second half.
Yep.
Stonebreaker and Liam Hall, each with a touchdown this evening, and doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the Saints offense here in the second half. 1st and 10, ball at the St. James 31-yard line. This is Stonebreaker getting out across the 35-yard line. Pick up 5.
So we've been talking a lot earlier about the 2 big tackles for St. James. Well, a couple kids that they are high on is, Ryan Schwartzbeck, he's playing number 53, and a kid they really like. He's going to be their next big guy is Kaz Kuzmiak. He's number 65, playing the left tackle right now. He's just a freshman, and he is a big young man. And so Coach Rudd is really think the future is bright for him.
6'4", 300 pounds.
Yeah. And last week when I was there, he was talking to Coach about he's lost 45 pounds since the summer.
Wow.
So he has lost a lot of weight, and he's, he is a big young man.
And only a freshman.
Yeah. So I stood right next to him, and he gets in that weight room, he's going to be something.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. You see, losing that weight and at that young age when he starts lifting and really getting serious. Not that he's not serious about it now, but as his body starts to grow, boy, he's going to be a monster.
Yep. When you look at kids, so here's a first down. And see, these are backbreakers here, Mark. Now that was 5:10 when they started. They ran 2 plays, and they got it down to 3:39 with the clock stopped just to get the ball set, and they're going to get the clock back running again. The only thing you can do here is you got to use your timeouts, and you got to make some stops and limit the yardage, and hopefully maybe get a turnover here. Maybe make them punt, and you make something happen on your punt return. But you got to get a stop here. And St. James is thinking we get another first down here, we can pretty much, as we say in the coaching world, start the buses.
Stonebreaker again off the right side, gets the ball out to about midfield. Gain of 8.
Yeah, and you're really starting to see the fatigue setting in with South Hagerstown. Their kids are trying to make a play, but the big boys up front from St. James have been leaning on them all night, and they're physical.
Yeah.
They're physical players, and so they're going to, those close collisions, they wear and tear those D linemen up.
Second and a short 2. Handoff up the middle is enough for a first down for Sam Stonebreaker. Clock stopped at 2:23 for the first down. And the ball spotted at the south 46-yard line. And for the South offense, it got to be a lot of frustration. You know, we talked in the pregame about you know, the offense kind of drying up, and now this is you know, 2 times in the last 3 weeks where they're without a touchdown.
Right. And I know Coach Sanders, again, focus on ourselves because the last 2 weeks and us do us is what he told me. And I know they, you know, coming out of the locker room the second half, they did a nice job of, you know, running the fly motion and then or speed motion underneath, giving a lot of. They hit that one big speed sweep, got them a nice run, and come right back to JoJo up in the middle, moved the ball, then they went backwards because of penalty.
Right.
And then threw the interception, and then that's, you know, essentially St. James has been in control since.
Yeah.
And very much reminiscent of the first half. So.
And even the second interception, they had the big play about the 25-yard gain to Alford right before the second interception. Yep. And so just unable to really get that flow going and keep any sort of momentum going offensively this time.
Yep, and that is the, you know, I'm an old defensive coach, so I always like to say, well, the defense has got to have rhythm too. But I will tell you, your rhythm on defense is different than your rhythm on offense. And so, you know, your rhythm on defense, you know, you want to control all the rundowns and make plays on the, you know, that's how you establish. But offense, you got to get your game going, you know, whether it's inside game, outside game, throwing game, quick screens, which I haven't really seen. I thought, you know, we would see more quick screen game out of the South, which we didn't. And that's another way to get the ball on the edge. And I know Coach Root, that they practiced that because they were expecting quick screens and, you know, quick little hitch passes.
There's a quick shot up the middle from Liam Hall for another first down.
And I'm telling you, the way the clock runs, South's got one more timeout if they choose to use. With a 40-second play clock here, we're not going to get but, you know, a couple more plays, and St. James will be able to kneel this out. This is where that 4-minute offense comes in.
Yeah. So Hall takes the ball all the way down to the 25-yard line. The clock starts up again. Coming up on 1.5 minutes left in this one. The Saints will get back above 500 with this win. They're going to take a knee. They'll improve to 3-2 on the season.
Yeah, so we got 1:20 when they set the ball here.
In South Hagerstown.
They really don't have to snap it yet. They can wait. Now, if they would smart, he would get his eyes on the back judge on the far side. He's keeping the clock. And wait till he starts chopping. He's going to count it down for 5 seconds on. You know, his hands should go in the air right there. His hands up. He's going to start chopping. That hand means there's 10 seconds. Now 4, 3, 2, and then they're going to set the ball here. Now, a lot of times what referees will do, because it got under 40, so they really can set the ball, and you're good to go. But sometimes those referees will set the ball before the 40, and that means you got to take another snap.
Right.
Or stop the game and get a penalty on you. So a lot of times referees know that there's not much you can do, so they did a nice job there of holding that, letting the kids get out of here.
That'll do it for this one here from School Stadium. St. James with a 16-0 win over South Hagerstown. Third straight loss for the Rebels. They dropped to 1-3 on the season. As mentioned, St. James back over 500 there at 3-2. Stay with us. We'll have the post-game wrap-up here. Bob Parcelletti will be talking with Coach Root and probably a few Saints players as well. So more to come here from Antietam Broadband High School Football, brought to you by Hagerstown Kia.
Should have mentioned this.
If I was the mayor of this town, I'd still be driving around in a Kia from Hagerstown Kia.
Fall into the savings during Hagerstown Kia's model year-end event. Get a Kia Telluride 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sportage 2.99% for 66 months. Drive away in a Kia Forte 4.99% for 72 months, or the Kia Sorento 2.99% for 66 months. Fall into the savings during the model year-end event at
Hagerstown Kia.
Now's the time to advance your future through USMH. 5 universities, 1 local campus, all in downtown Hagerstown. For nearly 2 decades, USMH has served as the premier regional higher education center. And with more than 16 programs, USMH can help you achieve your educational goals with flexible scheduling, small classes, and state-of-the-art facilities. At USMH, we believe everyone should have access to an affordable education. Apply online at hagerstown.usmd.edu.
At an early age, I always saw myself as a law enforcement officer. I had friends that worked here that kind of pushed me in that direction.
It also goes back to the people that you're working with also. The camaraderie that we have, the teamwork that we have, the family-like atmosphere kind of makes it hard to leave, and that you want to stay here and be part of something.
Now hiring correctional deputies. Entry level starts at $51,000. Lateral starting salary $53,976 plus a $10,000 sign-on bonus.
The Washington County Health Department Tobacco Education and Enforcement Program extends its heartfelt gratitude to these vigilant guardians of public health, to our esteemed tobacco retailers who've successfully passed their 2024 compliance checks. We applaud your unwavering dedication. Your commitment to refusing tobacco sales to minors not only upholds the law, but also fosters a healthier and safer environment for our entire community. Thank you for being the shining example of responsible retail practices.
Welcome back to School Stadium here at South Hagerstown High School. Your final score tonight, St. James beating South Hagerstown 16-0. Mark Keller and Coach Pete Urish with you. And Coach, you're kind of just going through your notes here after the game. And one of the things that Coach Root said was talking about the play in the trenches.
Yeah. So when we talked about matchups, he told me, and then like the overall feeling, he said, we match up in the trenches and feel that could be a big factor in the game. Second half, that's what we saw.
Clearly,
and the other thing he told me right before the game, I told him if it comes true, he's a big prognosticator. He told me he feels like this game's going to be a 2-score game either way, and that's the way it looks. I mean, it did come out there, but it was a 2-score, possession score game, so 16-0. So, it was kind of interesting how the game played out. Like the first half, as we talked at halftime, how first half, St. James came out, was running the ball, and they seemed to get away from it, wanted to do what they do. South and then we come out the second half. South tried some new things, had some success, but penalties put them behind schedule, and St. James took advantage of it and just said, here you go, we're lining up and running the ball right at you. So they, maybe they heard us at halftime.
Yeah, maybe so. Take a look at some highlights here coming up. Only 6 points scored in the first half. That came on the Sam Stonebreaker run, which was set up by the big pass from Yates to Braylock, the 49-yard pass that got them down to the 5-yard line, and that set up Stonebreaker's 5-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. And there wasn't a whole lot of offense in the first quarter after that big play.
No, and we see the highlights in front of us. We're starting to see South, had some success running the ball inside and outside. Then you see the defense shutting it down. Now we're seeing what St. James decided to do. They decided we're going to put our run-heavy pants on and we're going to come right at you. And that's what we did. There was a nice catch. And we're seeing, this play here. This is what Coach Wells talked about with trying to make Yates beat you. This is when we said we don't think he stepped out of bounds. But he wanted to keep him in the pocket. But little things like that add up to big things over the course of a game. You want to keep the quarterback contained, but he gets out and gets yards on you. That's those hidden yards you don't expect.
Right.
And it's just like the hidden yards in the return game. And I know the interceptions, all these return yards are hidden yardage that help you out.
Yes.
And so we don't account for them a whole lot. But then, the interception would come back. We have the big, tall sweep here to the end of the boundary and a nice run. So and there's a hold there, but that was another nice run we had by Stonebreaker.
Yeah, it was a big second half for Sam Stonebreaker. Liam Hall as well. We after the run by Yates, Hall was the one who eventually took that in for the 2-yard touchdown run to put St. James up 13-0, and then Jorge Diaz-Nicholas added a 30-yard field goal to close out the scoring to get us to 16-0. And I know we talked a lot about the penalties for St. James. We don't want to keep dwelling on that, but again, Coach Root's got to look at this and be able to tell his team, look, we can't do this. We can't and we've talked about it being sort of uncharacteristic of a St. James team. What sort of happens with a team like this when they have a night like this, where there are so many penalties?
Sometimes it can go obviously one or two ways. Sometimes the kids need to see it. You see it on the film, and they need to clean it up. Sometimes there might be the residual carryover effect of it. They're going to their next game thinking, that maybe they can do this and get by with it. What is fortunate that I think with Coach Root and the Saints, they were able to overcome it tonight. And I think maybe, deep down they know they weren't playing their best game in that situation. So, but every game, some of these penalties were not smart penalties. Right. Some of them, were penalties that are going to happen. To answer that question, fully, to give it, a one-sided answer, it's not, because it's open, and a lot of it depends on the maturity, and I'm sure Coach is going to address that with his team. Like, we can't, they're not going to beat Allegheny with 12 penalties. And so, but here's the other key thing that they did: no turnovers. They had penalties, but you didn't see very many blocking assignments missed. You didn't see many assignments missed defensively. So they played a well-rounded game, and they were able to overcome the penalties. But I'm like you, I would be real hesitant. I know coaches handle that in different ways, different manners. I know coaches used to have like punishment runs for that. Do things where you got to drive a sled for so many yards, you had penalties. Those kind of things to kind of get into the players' heads. Like, look, we can't keep this up. We can't do that. But I think he knows that was a little uncharacteristic of them as well to commit that many penalties.
Right. We talked about Stonebreaker and Hall and the impact they had on the offense, and it kind of get Braylock, who had the big reception that set up the first touchdown, also had 2 interceptions defensively, and then Marcello Anderson had the big night in the return game as well for the Saints.
Yep.
Let's send it down to Bob Parcelletti on the field. He has a couple St. James folks for us. Bob, take it away.
How you doing? I'm here with Sam Stonebreaker, the running back from St. James. How did it feel running the mashed potatoes today?
It was a little sloppy at times. The field conditions weren't the greatest, but we were able to play hard-nosed football and get downhill.
You guys ran the ball really well early, then you got away from it, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, we got to get this done. What happened? What made you switch?
I think that it wasn't as productive as we were in the first half, so they tried to turn it over, and, we were able to get some yards after that.
There was one run that really kind of seemed like you guys wore them down at the end, where you took off, you went down the left sideline. That seemed to me to be the one that turned everything really on for you guys.
Yeah, I think so too. Their demeanor and everything changed after that. So yeah.
So, want to get back on the carpet?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thanks a lot. Got John Root coming up here. All right, John, you guys started out running real well, and then all of a sudden you stopped, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the third quarter you started again. What happened?
Well, we figured the TV was here. We wanted to give them a great game. No, I mean, I think we wanted to try to pass the ball a little bit and try to work our passing game. And we had just had some difficulties. I mean, but ultimately, I mean, we went back to the run late in the game and just kind of grounded out against them. I think our line did a really good job establishing the line of scrimmage and kind of pushing the line of scrimmage back, and our running backs, all of them they pounded the ball. And then when we threw the ball, we had a little bit of trouble the second half, but it's all right. Got the W.
You guys, I think the big guys really did a job for them. I think you wore them down a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, some of these kids have been starting for me for a couple of years. They're young, but they've been starting since they've been freshmen. So, I mean, South's got a good football team. I think I told somebody else, I said this was like a 75% game. You got 75% ability from both teams because of this field, and it was just, ultimately I think our line just kind of took charge and established on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they hit them pretty quick. So.
Did you guys have a hard time getting started in the conditions with the?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, there's no good footing here. I mean, kids slipping and sliding, and I think that also caused a lot of penalties. Kids, just natural instinct to grab jerseys and stuff like that, which we're not happy with at all. But, again, ultimately we got the W. Just get ready for Allegheny this week.
So you got 3-2, and you play the prime television game this week on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that's a tradition for you guys. You looking forward to that game?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're just happy to be here. We're just happy to be playing football, and I'm excited about playing, South Hagerstown, and we'd like to get more Washington County teams on our schedule. And Allegheny, we got a short week this week, so it's football, man. And if it was just a little bit colder, it'd be perfect. So.
All right. Well, congratulations. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Coach Root, as well. And love that attitude. You just want to play football, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was telling someone today. I'm not coaching and trying to get, used to not doing things in the fall. This is perfect. I love doing this. Have a great time. But you're right. Then the person said back to me, but fall is for football. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is. The greatest time of year, right?
Absolutely. And Bob kind of hit on it, too. And was sort of what we talked about, that once the Saints got in the third, it's like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
We'll go back to what we were doing, what was working, and let's get it done.
Yep. And I know Coach Root, he wants to stick to his guns and be who he is and his identity to let's throw the ball to run it. But tonight, and this was what we alluded to when he mentioned the, grabbing, weren't happy with the penalties, because they had some holding calls, et cetera. So sometimes the field conditions cause that too. But I know he's not happy about that. But back to the run game where he's, we're going to cause less chances of something bad happening. And, he figures we can run downhill, lessen our penalty chances, and just pound the rock. And, good old coaches, if you're a defensive coach, you love that. You love that because that means your offense is in control. It's taking time off the clock. You hurry up. Then you hurry up the offense and to get them out of sync.
Okay. We're going to send it back down to Bob Parcelletti. He has South Hagerstown coach Juwan Sandridge. Bob, take it away.
Okay, I'm with Coach Juwan Sandridge. First off, how about you guys usually have to prepare to go away. You got to prepare for home for once. That'd be a different experience.
Yeah, it was a little different for us. We was happy that we were able to come back here at home. Not have to worry to make sure all the travel bags and everything's packed. So guys have a little bit of downtime that we can warm up and get ready for the game. So.
It was for people that didn't know, they played their first 3 games on the road. Yeah. So this was their first home game, and it's halfway through the season already. Yeah. You guys did a good job kind of slowing down on the run after the end of the first drive, and then and kind of had a chance to get in control, but it didn't work out for you.
No, we had some silly penalties, that hurt us on offense. We came out of the half, we, moved the ball a little bit, but after that, it was tough for us after those penalties.
You had change in quarterback, you had guys hurt, you had the conditions. I would think that there's anything that you guys have coached them up for this week.
Yeah, I felt like we were prepared for everything. The first 3 weeks has been an adventure for us. So we were prepared. We were just trying to get another look and see if we can get something going on offense when we change the quarterbacks up. So.
And in the end, it seemed like that they kind of wore you out a little bit.
Yeah, all the injuries we had, a couple guys cramping. Like as you said in the beginning, our guys worked hard. They worked hard. So, at the end, we left everything out here on the field. So.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Thanks for stopping by with us.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks again, Bob, and thanks, Coach Sandridge. That's going to wrap it up for us here tonight. Final score, St. James beating South Hagerstown 16-0. We appreciate you joining us tonight. We have live volleyball coming up for you next on Wednesday, October 2nd. Going live at 6:45, it'll be Williamsport taking on North Hagerstown High School. That's Wednesday night, October 2nd at 6:45 here on Channel 6 and 806 from Antietam Broadband. You can watch us on YouTube as well. And Coach Urish and I will be back with you next Friday night, October 4th. We will be at Williamsport High School to watch the Boonesboro Warriors take on the Williamsport Wildcats. So for Coach Urish, I'm Mark Keller. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We will see you next week.